One of the things in your documentary where you were leaving the hospital and you just said kind of under your breath, like, "Well, let's have another one." And
Yeah.
I think about you just as a person and how resilient you are and how, like, where does that resilience come from?
It's just something that's innate, really. It's
Okay.
something that I've always had and something that um really came just from me being always wanting to, I don't know, do more and be more and not necessarily be more in this situation, but just I don't know. It's just something, you can see it when I play. It's just always something that is just there.
What gives you a sense of calm and peace? I mean, for me, it's cooking and gardening, and I understand you're the chef in your family, but
Yeah.
what do you do to kind of just calm yourself and relax?
So no. I was gonna say I used to love getting my nails done, but I haven't done that in so long. Um, and then I love watching movies at night, but now Olympia's in a stage where she wants to sleep with us every night, so don't do that anymore. I don't
Okay.
know. I think her nap time is like my calm, and I don't know. Even though I'm working or doing different things, it still brings me calm that she's not asleep. That can't be healthy, right? That can't be healthy.
No, I think it is actually, I think it's parenting. I think it's healthy. What qualities do you look for in an entrepreneur?
Honestly, sometimes, and this is going to sound really weird, sometimes we want to see what they did in the past that didn't work. Because
Okay.
if you think about someone that um, has succeeded and haven't had an opportunity to understand like failure in
Hmm.
a way, doesn't, what happens now if that happens? So, if this doesn't work, what's your backup plan? How has that affected you in the past when something didn't work? And what did you learn from that? Because then it's like, okay, so they tried this before and they were able to learn from it and make better decisions going forward. So that's actually something that we look into. And if we see that they haven't learned from it and they're doing the same thing, so we'll know that this is probably not an entrepreneur we want to invest in. But it's also good. It's a really interesting way to look at different entrepreneurs.
I hope all of our students that are watching right now will really take that to heart because failure is part of the process.
It is. And no
I,
one wants to do it, but it's actually super important. It's fact some things that we look for because it's really not failure. It's like, oh, that didn't work, but we shifted and we did
Mhm.
this and we changed gears and we only did that because it didn't work. So there has to be, a computer, had a lot of flaws before it was able to work.
Yeah.
So we're looking for the same things.
It's very similar in athletics, right? Like you look at a super good athlete and you think they're just somehow they just got there, right? But really there's so much failure that goes into sports, into business, into everything that really ultimately becomes a success. And I think it's really important that people have role models. And just I think for you guys, there's so many young girls and that probably maybe never would have picked up a tennis racket, are able to do their thing and to achieve. And so, how important do you feel like it is to have a role model?
Oh, it's so important to have a role model. Like to have someone that you look up to. Usually if you have a role model, it's an opportunity to look up to them and to often sometimes be better. And I think that's really important. And so, I had role models growing up, like my sister and my mom. And I think what's so important about role models is they don't have to be a poster in your room. They could be your neighbor or someone that's doing amazing in the community or someone that's your teacher. It doesn't have to be some amazing celebrity or some crazy celebrity. It doesn't have to be any of that. And so I feel like that sometimes is missed, but super important to note.
Yeah, that's actually good to point that out because oftentimes the role models are right around you. And I think about my parents, my mom in particular, my dad, just their role modeling work ethic, as you mentioned earlier. And so it's important to look right around you at people that are productive, doing a good job, and they don't have to be famous people.
Yeah, yeah, but I totally agree. And so I think sometimes people get lost into looking at other people and looking at on social media and
Mhm.
just looking at different things, and they don't realize their best role model is, at their in their class.
Is there anything that you feel like has happened over the last, let's say, decade that's really made a difference for women moving forward?
I think just more voices and having men advocate for them as well is super important. And advocating for each other, women, just speaking out, I think is really important on those issues like equal pay, and they just need some representation.
I mean, do you find like if you're nervous before a match or anything that when you walk out on the court, does it go away?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm prepared, you don't get as nervous. I mean, I get nervous for every match, but in
Mhm.
general, it's like when you go to take a test. If you studied for the test, feeling pretty good going in there,
Yep.
and then if you are like, oh, you slipped up that night, you didn't do all the studies that you wanted to, or you just kind of crammed it in, and it's just like, okay, I think I crammed it in, it was that, but I don't think I'm really ready for the test, and your results will be the same. So that's kind of how I look at my game. It's like I don't want to cram it in, I want to be slow and steady and make sure that I'm ready for the event.
That makes sense. Well, you said winning is the way you define yourself. Many athletes are motivated by different things, right? Like joy, fear, anger, competition. What is your internal motivation?
Um, I think just love. I love what I do. And that motivates me. It's like, why do we do what we do? Is because we love our jobs, and I'm fortunate enough that I'm still able to do my job. And so that kind of is what keeps me motivated.
I know our students really appreciate you being here.
So this is so cool. Thanks so much.